So now, if there's a type 3 movement, but the interface is tracked, in other words, there is femtocutting that occurs throughout the process of the eye peeling off the contact glass, this is a different situation. And because this is creating a cut across depths, I just think it's safer to never be a hero in refractive surgery and just to switch to LASIK, because while the software wizard will allow you, because it doesn't know that there's been tracking, it will allow you to continue. If, for example, this interface tracks upwards and you were to recreate a smile interface, lenticule interface, it is possible that the bubble layer at the depth which you're intending is now going to be blocked by this tracked interface during the process of suction loss. So those first-time cut bubbles will block the cutting of the actual interface at the right depth. And this is a very good reason to not continue. You could send the patient out of the room, wait for all of the bubbles to dissipate and start the case from scratch. You could do that. But the truth of the matter is that LASIK is a great procedure, and so that there's absolutely nothing wrong with LASIK. And so never be a hero in refractive surgery, switch to LASIK. LASIK is a great procedure, and that's what I chose to do in this case. So here we are with the spherical low myopia, and the original cap thickness was 145 microns, and we've switched to LASIK at a 110 micron flap. We're going to go over the video then first with sound, and then we'll go over it with commentary.
Super. Now is when, if you see the green light shift, you don't follow it. Just let go of it, look past it, gently looking out towards infinity, breathing gently. No, okay. Oliver. Yeah. There we go. Super. Okay, super. And now is when you don't follow the light. So just look straight past it, out into infinity. Breathing gently, ignore the green, don't move your eye, don't move your eye, don't move your eye. Hold as steady as you can, breathing gently, holding steady. That's great, that's super. No, don't look up, look straight, straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead. Oh, that's right, just holding there. That's right, now is when you don't look at the green. Don't move your eye over at all. At all. Just hold it absolutely steady. Okay, that's great. Super. Okay. So this eye we do slightly differently.
So here we are with commentary. We achieve suction, and the femtocutting starts. The patient pulls so quickly that I didn't have time to take my foot off the pedal. There was tracking of the interface, and we have reprogrammed the flap now. You can see the bubble pattern off-center relative to the pupil once suction is achieved, and now we're cutting the flap at 110 microns. But again, the patient starts moving. This isn't as consequential in LASIK, but the patient is now actually changing his position, and the side cut is created really quite a bit off-center. So what I do now is I go back and use the Circle software, which enables us to program a side cut only. And we'd originally planned the flap at 8 millimeters, and so I'm now programming a side cut only at 7.5 millimeters to make sure that I'm definitely inside, and as you can see, we've reached the right position there. Again, it's this principle of never trying to be a hero in refractive surgery. SMILE is a great procedure, but LASIK is as well, and having to convert to LASIK is not a failure. It is just part of the process of getting patients the best possible outcome when SMILE isn't possible. Now, on lifting the flap, of course, what we notice now is that because of the two separate side cuts, we notice that as I was separating, my instrument switched from the inner side cut to the outer side cut. Again, not an issue with LASIK because LASIK is a lock and key situation, so this has zero consequences whatsoever on the outcome in any way. We perform the ablation. But now we have to examine that little area carefully, and we can see that there's a bit of host side flap which is folded over itself, and so we need to unfold that, and it actually turns out to be a wedge-shaped piece of tissue which we reposition exactly into position. Of course, the case ends up being completely routine. And as always with corneal lamellar surgery, if you put everything back exactly anatomically where it came from, making sure that you haven't overhydrated anything to swell tissue and distort it so that it doesn't fit as it did in the nascent position, then everything is fine. Summarizing this, we had a suction loss during the lenticule interface during the first 10% of cutting. There was tracking of the interface, and so I decided instead to switch to LASIK, given the risks of entering a different plane or blocking the cutting of the original lenticule plane. And the results, of course, as it is with LASIK in low myopia, excellent. Patient's exactly on target, and everything looks fantastic. Here's a difference map of the procedure.